Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're basically going on a linguistic treasure hunt. We're going to take 20 words that you probably see all the time, but instead of just making a list, we're going to pull back the curtain and uncover the hidden web of connections that links them all together. You'll see that behind these seemingly random words, there's a kind of hidden logic, one that tells us a story about how we actually think. So, let's get started.
I mean, it looks like a pretty random collection, doesn't it? How on earth can words like crab, deadline, and pragmatic have anything in common, let alone tell a story about how English works? Well, that's exactly the question we're diving into. Because as we're about to discover, words are rarely islands. They're all part of this vast, interconnected family tree of meaning. So, let's start exploring.
Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the foundations of meaning. You know, the abstract words we use for ideas and actions. Then, we'll get our feet on the ground with words for a material world. And to finish up, we'll raise the stakes with the language of risk and urgency.
All right, first up, let's tackle the building blocks for our ideas and even our social rules. These are the words that help us describe how we solve problems, how we make judgments, and how we organize ourselves as people.
Let's kick things off with the word pragmatic. When you're pragmatic, you're all about what works in the real world. You're not getting bogged down in theories. You just want to know, will this actually get the job done? We often talk about a pragmatic solution to a problem or a pragmatic leader. And the noun for this whole way of thinking is pragmatism.
And this sentence here, it just nails it. See, instead of getting lost in a debate, she took a pragmatic approach, that's a phrase you'll hear a lot, especially in business, and just focused on finding a real solution that worked.
And this is super interesting. Pragmatic isn't alone. It's got a whole family, the practice family. It all stems from the core idea of to practice, which just means to do something. So something that's practical is useful for doing, and a practitioner is someone who does a certain job, like a medical practitioner. They're all connected by that root idea of taking action. Now, this is a tricky one that a lot of people mix up. Critical versus crucial. So a situation can be critical. That means it's really serious and you need to think carefully. But crucial takes it up a notch. It means something is absolutely 100% necessary for success. Think of it this way. A patient in the hospital might be in critical condition. That's serious. But the medicine that will save them, that's crucial. One is very important, the other is can't live without it.
You know, we see the same kind of journey from an informal habit to a formal rule with these words. For example, it might be customary to shake hands when you meet someone. It's just what people commonly do. That can become more official, like the border customs you have to go through at an airport. And at the highest level, you have a convention, which is a formal agreement or a really established social rule, like the convention of waiting your turn in line.
Okay, check out this next word family, all built around a single idea, teaching. The verb, the action, is to instruct. The thing you get is an instruction, like a set of directions. The person doing the teaching is an instructor. And if an experience taught you something valuable, you could say it was very instructive. It's like one simple root gives us a whole toolkit of related words. Okay, so we've talked about the big ideas. Now let's get our feet back on the ground and talk about the physical world around us. The words we use for things we can actually touch, see, and measure.
So what's the deal with retailer and vendor? Well, it really comes down to how specific you're being. A retailer sells things directly to us, the consumers, usually from a physical store. But vendor is a much broader term. It could be the person selling hot dogs on the street corner or a huge company that sells software. So the key takeaway is, all retailers are vendors, but not all vendors are retailers.
These three are all about ownership, just from different angles. If you own a car, it's your property. Now, if we flip the perspective, we'd say the car belongs to you. And if you take all the stuff you own that you can move around, your clothes, your books, your phone, we group them all together and call them your belongings. Simple, right? Okay, let's get a little bit sciencey for a second, but I promise it's easy. So velocity isn't just about how fast you're going. It's about how fast you're going in a certain direction. So a car doing 60 miles per hour has speed. A car doing 60 miles per hour north has velocity. Acceleration is just any change in that velocity. So speeding up, slowing down, or even just making a turn.
Isn't it amazing how one simple word can stretch to mean so many different things? Just take the word sheet. The basic idea is just a thin, flat piece of something. But that one concept can be a sheet of paper, a bed sheet, a sheet of metal, a sheet of ice on the road, or even a digital spreadsheet. The context changes, but that core idea of a thin, flat surface stays the same.
Now, sometimes words aren't connected by how they sound, but by what they are. Crab, lobster, and shrimp sound totally different, but our brains group them together because they all belong to the same category, or what linguists call a semantic field. In this case, they're all crustaceans. Understanding these hidden categories is a huge part of how we make sense of language.
All right, for our last section, we're turning up the intensity. We're going to look at words that deal with risk, urgency, and some pretty serious situations. The stakes are a little higher with these.
You ever notice how the prefix dead shows up in a lot of words? It's not a coincidence. It's a powerful little prefix that signals a hard stop, a finality. Something deadly can cause death. A deadline is the final moment to get something done. A dead-end street literally has no way forward. And a deadlock in a negotiation means all progress has stopped. It's a warning that you've hit the end of the line.
And language is really, really good at telling us how much trouble we're in. It's like an escalating scale of risk. A traffic sign just gives you information, like a speed limit. A warning sign tells you about potential danger, falling rocks ahead. But a hazard, that's the actual danger itself, right here and right now, like the rocks already in the road. You can feel the urgency build with each word.
So, shelter and bunker. They both keep you safe from exposure, right? But the level of safety is worlds apart. A shelter might give you temporary protection from a rainstorm. A bunker, on the other hand, is a reinforced, often underground structure designed to protect you from something way more serious, like a bombing. The word you choose instantly signals the level of danger.
Okay, this next word is a really serious one. Complicit. If you're complicit in something, it means you're involved in some kind of wrongdoing, even if you weren't the one who planned it. It suggests a shared guilt, either because you helped or because you knew about it and did nothing. You'll almost always hear it used with in, like being complicit in a crime. And this example really clarifies it. This person didn't come up with the plan for the cover-up, but by going along with it, by helping it happen, he became complicit in it. He shares the responsibility. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? After looking at word families and subtle differences and shared categories, what's the crucial point? Well, it's that words are not isolated islands. Instead, you're all part of this huge interconnected network of meaning. Understanding a word isn't just about memorizing a definition. It's about seeing its neighbors, its family members, and its place in the whole system. When you start to see those connections, that's when you really start to master the language. So here's what I want you to take away from this explainer. Every new word you learn isn't just a single piece of data. It's a new key that can unlock a whole new part of the network. The real adventure starts now, when you start seeing these connections everywhere. So, my question to you is, what connections will you find next? Thanks so much for joining me.